You are watching Influence Media, PSI TV, the Netflix of biz brands.
How best to reach the audience that definitely wants what you have and will be a raving fan. Is that what you want? That's certainly what I want. That's why I came to television. Every now and again, I get to blend both of the things that I love. So here it is in the Bible. There's a story about the woman at the well. Now, if you're a Christian and you know the story, bear with me because I'm going to show how it applies to business. If you're not a Christian, you've never heard this story, then just enjoy it as a story. And there are many, many stories out there with moral lessons. Just consider this as one of them and bear with me, okay? So there's a story in the Bible about the woman at the well. It is found in John 4, and I won't read all of it, but I want to just share that Jesus had gone to Samaria. Now, Jesus is a Jew, and the Jews don't usually speak to the Samaritans, but he went through Samaria and he stopped at this well. Now, back in those days, we didn't have this, everybody can do whatever in this equality stuff. Women had their job, men had their job, and the women pulled the water from the well. Many stories showing that was woman's work in the Bible. So this particular woman, the Samaritan woman, comes to the well to get water, and Jesus says to her, "Hey, will you give me a drink?" And this conversation goes on, and she says, "Well, you don't even have a cup, and how are you talking to me?" And all of that. So Jesus turns to her and says, "If you knew who you are talking to, you would ask me for water." At which point she says, "You don't even have a container. She says, "Sir, you have nothing to draw the water with, and the well is deep. And plus, why are you even talking to me?" She says, he says, "Everyone who drinks this water will be thirsty again. Everyone who drinks the water I'll give them will never thirst." She says, "Sir, give me this water." And then he goes on to say, "Call your husband." She says, "I don't have one." He says, "You're right, because you've had 5 and the one you have now is not yours." And then she is amazed by him. She goes and she tells everybody in her neighborhood. Okay, so let me bring this back to business now. I do encourage you to read the story for yourself. It's in John 4, 1, verses 1 through 26. John 4, 1 through 26, okay? So I'm no theologian, and I'm not trying to preach to you today. I am using this Bible story to apply it to business, specifically about getting our message out to the audience who desires it and will just gobble it up and become a raving fan. Yes, the Bible can teach us these kinds of messages. So here we go. Now, Jesus goes to Samaria. He's a Jew. The Jews and the Samaritans do not usually speak to each other, and we have other evidence of that. So if you're not a Christian, just bear with me. You're just taking this as a story. Anyway, if you're a Christian, you know where the stories are, or you can easily research them in that resource. This is not what this is about. So the Jews and the Samaritans don't usually connect. And here it is, Jesus deliberately went through Samaria to continue to where he was going. I really want to bring this first point. There are many people doing what you do, okay? Jesus was seen as a prophet. Jesus was seen as a teacher. Jesus preached in a synagogue. Jesus was mistaken for many other things other than what he is. He is the Messiah. He is the Son of God. That's my position. You don't have to believe it. But even if you see him as any of those other things, the fact is that the Jews did not have a connection with the Samaritans. They avoided them, okay? And so here it is. He's deliberately gone there because guess what? The Samaritans need his message too. The Samaritans need his message too. And none of the Jewish priests were going to go there. Jesus went there. So I want to start with that. Your audience is not always what the average in your industry is going to consider the ideal. So we always talk about avatars in business. If you've done any kind of marketing training, you'll hear about the avatar, and the avatar in the marketing context is referred to as the person who would be your ideal client. Very often, the avatar is a version of you. Okay. The reason why you're attracted to what you're doing means that similar people like you, people who will resonate with you, are also going to be similarly attracted. Well, in many ways, Jesus was an outcast, and that could probably explain why. But the point is, the Jews would really never go to this particular audience. And so here it is, Jesus has gone to this audience because guess what? They need what he has to offer as well. But this is an untapped, untouched market. None of the elders, none of the priests, they weren't going there. So Jesus goes there. So step number one is, while you're thinking about your ideal audience, start really, when you think about your audience, with who needs what you have. Who needs what you have? And before you go saying everybody, maybe everybody does, because in the case of what Jesus offering salvation, definitely everybody does, but he still speaks specifically to each person. So to those who need healing, he comes to them with healing, and that opens a door for the further conversation. Okay, so that is what is going on here. He has now come to this particular group, an untouched, untapped market, and he speaks to this Samaritan woman. Of all the people he speaks to this Samaritan woman. Now, he went to the well. The story tells us that Jesus went to the well and he sat down and there. So it's almost like he intentionally went to where this woman is. Pay attention to this. He intentionally went to where this woman was going to be. And this is one of the things, guys, when I suggest to you that we try to be as omnipresent-ish, because we'll never be omnipresent. Only God is omnipresent. But technology has allowed us. I'm sitting in my home right now. I'm working from my home office, and somewhere in the world, you are watching this, okay? So he deliberately went where this person was going to be. This is why I often recommend that you are on social media, as many platforms as you can handle, and on TV. And trust me, the people who are at those places are very different from each other. And even if they are the same person that will be in both places, say, for example, I watch YouTube and here I'm on TV, but when I'm watching YouTube, I'm in a different mindset. I'm in a swipe right mode. When I'm watching TV, I'm not in swipe right mode. So he went to where this woman was going to be. You need to be present where your ideal audience, or where those who need what you have, are going to. There you are. Because she didn't go looking for him. He went to where she was. Okay. Jesus went to where she was. Now, having gone to where she was, he engages a conversation with her. He asked her for a glass of water. And sometimes, guys, this is something I've done so much training. I've had so many coaches. I've spent hundreds of thousands of dollars to learn what I know from this business side, because I was not born a businesswoman. Okay. I had to pay to learn. All right. So one of the things that we've often learned from our various coaches and courses and stuff is that when you ask someone a favor, it triggers the law of reciprocation. Now, the ask should not be a big ask, especially when you two don't know each other. So I would not meet somebody today and say, hey, let's get married tomorrow. And I agree with that. But if somebody came up to me and said, hey, could I have a glass of water? Or, hey, could you take my picture? Some small ask, they're very likely to say yes. And if they don't say yes, you definitely need to keep moving. But so one of the small asks that I do in my business is I ask people to download my app. And I'm still very specific, because I'm going to where the people who are likely to download my app will be. So here it is. Jesus meets her at the well, and then he asks her for some water. Okay, small ask. This opens up a conversation. Guys, conversation starters are so important. Okay, this is so important. You need to start having a conversation with your prospect. Don't just show up, here's my offer and please buy. That's not how this works. You need to be where they are, and then you need to start a conversation that will engage them. A conversation that will engage them. And she came to the well to get water, so Jesus naturally asked her for water. It was the right request for this moment. He asked her for some water. So a conversation starts. Now, the conversation gets to where she says, are you greater than our father Jacob, who gave us this well and drank from it? Because Jesus had now said, if you know who I was, I could give you living water. So he's made this bold offer. Guys, one of the things that we need to do as business people is to make a bold offer. He says to her, if you knew that you would ask for a drink, you would have asked him and he would have given you living water. Jesus gives this bold promise. So he has engaged a conversation with her. This now leads to him being in a position to offer this bold offer to her. And she says, so just like with your audience, the prospect, you've now engaged in this engaging conversation. You now give them this bold offer. Here's the first thing that comes up: skepticism. Skepticism. Are you greater than our father Jacob, who gave us this well? Are you greater? Are you greater? Guys, you have got to establish your authority and your credibility to fulfill on this bold offer that you've made. You can't just put this bold offer out there and can't be able to deliver, okay? So you put this bold offer out there, gets her attention. She's like, hold up. Skepticism sits in. Are you greater than our father Jacob? Because Jacob is great in her eyes, okay? Jacob is great. And are you greater? Because this offer that you've just put out there, you would have to be greater than our father Jacob. So now skepticism sets in. Now, once the skepticism sets in, she's not gone. She's now curious. That's what skepticism will do. It doesn't close the door. It opens the door to curiosity. And what happens next may close the door. So she's now skeptic. She's a skeptic. She's curious. And so she says, so she goes on. She's now questioning if this man is greater. And Jesus says to her, go and call your husband and come back. Go and call your husband and come back. What has Jesus done with this question? Go and call your husband and come back. If you know the story, you know what her answer was. You don't know the story, bear with me, because this is a business principle right here. Go and call your husband and come back. He has established a pain point in this woman's life. Okay, he's made this bold offer and he comes back at it with hitting her with the very pain he's getting ready to solve for her. Go and call your husband. Go and call your husband. To which she says, I have no husband. And she replied, and Jesus says, you're right when you say you have no husband. The fact is you have had 5 husbands, and the man you are now with is not your husband. And she says, sir, I can see that you're a prophet. So hold up right here. So Jesus goes where she is, goes where his prospect is likely to be. The prospect stumbles upon this experience. He does a small ask. Hey, click this button. Hey, a small ask. There engages a conversation. He makes a bold offer. She's a skeptic. And now he pushes her pain point. And now that he's pushed her pain point, what is the pain that is identified here? He asks about her husband, and he goes on to say, you've had 5 husbands, a man you're with. This is a woman who has been looking for love in all the wrong places, probably with men who belong to somebody else. Okay, she was looking for love in all the wrong places. She was constantly thirsty. These days, social media will post what they call thirst traps. What are thirst traps? Thirst traps are when, a very attractive man or woman poses in sometimes near nakedness to expose their beautiful body and to talk to the thirst that is in many of us. So she's She's looking for love in all the wrong places. She has this thirst, this desire that has not been satisfied. Okay. So Jesus says to her, so she says, "Oh, I can see you're a prophet." She's not thinking that he's the Messiah yet, but she's at least recognizing him as someone with some credibility and authority. Do you see the progression so far? So she says, "Oh, I can see you're a prophet." So she says, Jesus says, "Woman, believe me, a time is coming when you will worship the Father, neither on this mountain nor in Jerusalem. The Samaritans worship what you do not know. We worship, meaning the Jews, what we do know, for salvation is from the Jews." So he's saying your solution is not going to be found in your environment. Your solution is coming from somewhere else. Okay? Your solution is coming from somewhere else. He says, and he goes on, the woman says, you got to read the whole story, guys. I am theologically, I'm probably butchering this, but I am not coming at you preaching. I am using the Bible to extract the biblical precepts for building a business. That's what I went to TV for. I do have a channel called The Bible on Business. But today I get to blend them because I am trying to show you that you need to get your message out there. Hopefully you will choose to do it doing business with us, with PSI TV. But the point is you need to go out there and be where your audience is. So come on, let's keep going. So she says, I know that the Messiah is coming. And when he comes, he will explain everything to us. So he's identified her pain, that she has a desire that has been unmet in all the, sometimes we buy this, we buy that, we do this, we do that. We're looking for the solution. We've tried many different things and we've not found the solution we're looking for. Jesus tells her the solution you're looking for is not in the places you've been looking for it. It's outside of your immediate environment. Okay. It's with the Jews because Jesus came as a Jew. Okay. So he says, your solution is not here, it's out there, and I'm bringing it to you. And then he says, she's not least established that he's credible and, somebody that she should listen to. And she says that, so in other words, she knows exactly what she's looking for because she says, when the Messiah comes, because they're all looking for the Messiah, he will explain everything to us. She already knows what her solution is. And that's why she knew she hadn't found it yet. Okay. So a lot of times we tap into things that we hope will be the answer to our problem. We hope will be the solution to our situation. And we're disappointed. Even if it gives us a temporary, this might be it. And then we're disappointed. So Jesus says to her, no, the solution you're looking for is not here. It's outside of here. And I've actually brought it to you. She's like, well, the solution I'm looking for is the Messiah and he will know everything. And he says, I am he. And she's like, he just told her everything. So she's like, looking for. And then here's what happened. Then, leaving her water jar, the woman went back to the town and said to the people, come see a man who told me everything I did. Could this be the Messiah? They came out of the town and made their way towards him. And I'll jump down again. And says in verse 39, so forgive me if I didn't tell you to go all the way here. Verse 39, many of the Samaritans from that town believed in him because of the woman's testimony. This is a raving fan. She has found her solution. She cannot contain herself. She's got to tell the message to somebody else. We want to develop raving fans because even if we've satisfied a customer, they've gotten what they need from us, how much more amazing it is when they're so mind blown by what we've done for them that they have to go and tell somebody else. This is the holy grail of prospects coming in and filling up your funnel. And if you can even compensate this person through, say, an affiliate program or something, even more, they're even more incentivized because we don't have salvation, and forever life to offer them. Only Jesus can do that, but we have our next best thing. Okay. So, ladies and gentlemen, I will invite you to go and check out my channel, The Bible on Business. I will tell you, unfortunately, I have not been able to keep up all of my messages on a consistent basis because I'm here helping all of you. But when I'm done with school, that will change. But for now, I today get to be able to blend both of my loves together, because with the Bible on Business, I am talking about business, but today in particular, this message is about market reach. Market reach. Now, there are many ways to do this. There are many social media platforms. Listen to me. Listen to me. This is the thing. I grew up a missionary child. Okay. My father was a missionary that went out to the whole world. Then he ended up a pastor and retired from that. So I have seen people go in the pulpit, which is a very influential place that has a lot of influence over the audience that they're speaking to. I grew up also in a time where women didn't do that. Today, that's different. But when I grew up, that was not the experience. So I knew that if I had a message to share, it was not going to be from the pulpit. But I had a pressing message to share. Well, how was I going to share it? So I came to video. And that's how that part of my trajectory into television. So guys, listen to me. This message today is about audience reach. Okay. Audience reach. Before there was YouTube, there was TV. That's how I ended up in TV. Today, I get to blend both of these messages together, because when you use television in particular, television has a reach all of its own to an audience that is unique, that is probably never going to go to the social media platforms. And even if they do, they're going in a different mindset. The social media mindset is swipe right, swipe up, swipe down. It's a quick hit and they're moving on. And there's a lot of distraction going on around them. It's ding, 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 ding. And so you're sending people to these platforms, and before they hit your message, they've been derailed. Television doesn't do that, at least television today. This is not cable TV. Cable TV is a dinosaur. This is OTT, over the top television. It's internet based. And that's what platforms like Roku, Amazon Fire TV, Apple TV, Vita, and many more. And on top of it, we have embedded PSI TV into our mobile app for on-the-go viewing. So we're really trying to get that reach. That is the whole point. We are really looking for not just reach, but influential reach. And I'm pressing on you today, using this message of the woman at the well, that you need to go where there is even better an untapped, untouched market. So while you're thinking about your avatar and your ideal person, also create an avatar for someone who needs what you offer, and position your offer in a way that will be relevant to that person. So I know a lot of you are thinking everybody needs this. And in truth, everybody will benefit from the salvation message, the gospel. Everybody will. But Jesus was very strategic. And that's why I am trying to be strategic. And I'm encouraging you to be strategic. You want to go where that person is that needs what you have, but you have got to be where they are, because they're not coming to look for you. So you've got to be intentional about going where they are, so that they will stumble onto you in the process of them going about their life. Then you need to do a small ask. Click here, like this, whatever. You need to do, they need to, a small ask. And then have an engaging experience, something that just starts a conversation. In the course of that conversation, you can drop your big, bold offer. But when you drop your big, bold offer, expect the skepticism. And don't with it. It is a natural next process. But with the skepticism comes curiosity. And with that curiosity, it now opens a door for you to show who you are as the authentic, authoritative, credible resource to deliver on that big promise. And when you do that, when you establish that, you're likely to not only just solve that person's problem, but potentially create a raving fan who will be evangelistic about your offer and will tell their friends, their associates, their peers. That is a huge business model laid out right there for us in John 4, verses 1 to 42. I encourage you to read it. so that you can get the context for yourself. I definitely butchered the theology on it, but I never said I was a theologian, and I did not come here to preach to you. I came here to use this amazing story, which for me is as real as the day, as authentic as they come for me, but at least for you, hopefully it was an entertaining story with a business message. Trudy Beerman here. I am super simple to find, and I do look forward to connecting with you, especially if you want to consider including TV in your influential reach.